What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be talking about something, and it's the cards that you guys are going to need for the 4 free Dark Matter cards coming tomorrow. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 free Dark Matters are all coming tomorrow in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. An incredible day for content, and this is exactly what you guys need in order to get those 4 free Dark Matters. These are the cards you need. So, you guys, first of all, the first thing you need to do, if you have done nothing yet, this is going to be long. I think it might be worth it. I'm not going to lie, I think it might be worth it. So you can see here, we got these done. But in terms of our completed lifetime agendas, this is the big one. Just completed lifetime. You see that NBA play-in tournament. So these NBA play-in tournaments, like these 5 games, they don't take long. Like this is about 2 hours. If you're slow, this is about 2 hours. This is not a bad one at all, the NBA play-in tournament. It really is not. It's about 2 hours. It's about 3 hours for all these. So it is about 5 hours. And you need a lot. You need certain players. So for the play-in tournament, you need CJ McCollum. You need a Kyrie Irving card. You need a CJ McCollum card for playoffs. You need like Precious Achua, Rudy Gobert, Brunson. So you don't need Brunson. You can use like Seth Curry for that. Any of the ones where it's like a certain player. I think for Timberwolves 2 guards, you can use Trenton Hassel if you have him. But these are players you need for the round 1. So, for the semifinals, I'm thinking maybe we might need a Clay. I'm trying to think, do I have a Clay just sitting in my collection? I'm trying to like predict cards that we might need, like players that we may need. So like NBA Series 1, Warriors. Yeah, I have a Clay in my collection. I have a Steph. So it all depends on what happens tonight. Or well, I don't know. The Warriors one is all done. But the cards you need. You need a Giannis Antetokounmpo. How do you get a Giannis? You get the gold Giannis by literally playing a game. 24 points of Giannis, super, super easy. Playoff reward Jordan Poole. So these ones you pretty much have to complete the other ones for getting these playoff rewards. So getting up to this point, you already have 4 or 5 free Dark Matters. And some good free Opals and Pink Diamond. I mean, Herb Jones might be the best of all the cards. He's the Pink Diamond. Get any Bam Adebayo. The Bam Adebayo is really cheap, by the way. And the reason why Bam Adebayo is really cheap is because he's a free reward card. So cards that are really cheap, like Jaylen Brown's not cheap, but guys that are cheap, for Ja, if you have the free agent Ja, you're good. Jimmy Buckets is cheap. I don't know why Jimmy Buckets is cheap. Like he's like the one where I'm very confused with why he's cheap. Devin Booker is a Sapphire card in the Zero Gravity sets. If you can keep up to date with them, you've got Devin Booker. Jalen Brunson, again, is thing. But for things like the Mavs players, so you have to win a certain amount of things with Mavs players. You need 13. The real thing you're going to need is the 13 Heat, or the 10 Mavs players, the 10 Bucks players need 13 Heat players. So for the Heat players, if you guys think you're like, oh, there's a lot of like really good cheap Heat players, and it's actually not true. When people are like, oh, there's a lot of really good cheap Heat players, I'm telling you, it's really not true. So let's look 1,600 Miami Heat. Heat players have gone up in price. No, they haven't. But you're looking Duncan Robinson. You're like, why is Duncan Robinson 1,000 MT? Because you think, looking, it's only Duncan Robinson and Bam. Bam's a free card. Duncan Robinson's Galaxy Opal's free, so everyone has Duncan Robinson Galaxy Opal. I don't know why there's so many Sapphire Duncan Robinsons. It's like, it's just Duncan Robinson and Bam. So there are a lot of these cheap players, and for some reason, Jimmy Butler is cheap. I don't know why Jimmy Butler's cheap. You got Omer Yurtseven, who's not too bad. And if you're saying Dwayne Wade's cheap, you already have a Dwayne Wade. So that's one of the good things with these, is that if you've got to this point for the Miami things, you already have a Duncan Robinson and you already have a Dwayne Wade. Hassan Whiteside, again, like you're seeing these guys are like 2,000 MT. So you didn't pay like 26,000 MT thereabouts to get these cards. The only guys that are cheap are Wade, Duncan Robinson, and Bam Adebayo, who all of those guys already have. That's all of those guys already have free reward cards. So Jimmy has a really cheap exchange card. That's why. Jimmy has a really cheap exchange card. So like Daquan Cook there, and you might be saying, why is Daquan Cook cheap? Daquan Cook already has a card. So that's the one good thing about Miami, is that like you get these cards really, really easily. So if you're looking, people don't even realize this with their Miami. So if you look at Team Miami Heat, people don't realize almost everybody has the 10-win Derrick Jones Jr. Almost everybody has the Derrick Jones Jr. for 10 wins in TT Offline. And you get that card. This Bam is cheap because there's another Bam. Then Daquan Cook is like score 75 points in offline. Everyone has Daquan Cook. Justice Winslow is very cheap I don't even know why Justice Winslow's cheap, but he's cheap. But then I sniped a bunch of these guys. Like, I sniped Gabe Vincent for like 1,000. I sniped Dan Marley. I sniped Dragic. I got Dragic, Marley, Tucker, and Vincent all for like 1,000 MT. So I'm happy with that. If you've been completing your levels, you got Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem's base set card is also really, or his Series 1, one of his cards. He's really cheap as well. So basically, all the guys that are reward cards, Duncan Robinson, Udonis Haslem, Bam Adebayo, Derek Jones Jr. and Daquan Cook, and Dwayne Wade. Because this Dwayne Wade, everyone has him very, very easily for levels. Like, you literally score the Tyloo points and you get Dwayne Wade. So all of these guys are cheap. So it's very easy to get to like 10. To get to like 10 when you're looking at cheap Miami players. But it's getting those last couple that are tough. Again, this Udonis Haslem is really cheap, but then this Markieff Morris is not. So it is not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing at the end of the world. For the Mavs players, it's something very, very similar. So, like, Brunson is the cheapest of the Mavs players. So you look at the Mavs players I have. Dennis Smith Jr., because there's just too many of them. And also, there's the gold Dennis Smith Jr. a lot of people have. I think he's a Mavs card. But, like, Luka, there's a gold Luka that's really cheap. But again, most people have this Luka. The rest of these guys is just snipe. It's for just finding out who you can get on the cheap. It is just finding out who you can get on the cheap. Like, here's so many DSJs that he's not expensive. So we're gonna look at Team Mavs because again, you're gonna see more and more the same people for cheap, and it's just make sure you don't do dumb things like buying 2 of the same player. Like you're seeing, like Trey Burke. Okay, the Mavs players have gone down. Mavs players were a lot more expensive than this at one stage. Dude, just get yourself a 7. Dude, give me 700 MT for Sean Bradley, please. I'll take that. 750 for Kristaps. Give me that. I can probably put both of those up for 1,200 and they'll sell. Send them to my auctions. Put them for 1,200. But what I would advise you guys to do is maybe get ahead today. If you get caught too far behind tomorrow, you're gonna struggle. Like you are gonna struggle because there's time today. If you've just not started these, this is like 3 hours. It's really not long. If you've gotten all the previous Dark Matters. But if you wait for tomorrow, the cards are going to shoot up in price. So you see these Mav cards that I'm putting up for 1,200 and 1,350. They're probably going to be 1,700, 1,800, at least for the first few hours tomorrow. When it gets to tomorrow night, when it gets to Tuesday, it gets cheaper. It gets a lot cheaper when it gets to Tuesday. But at the end of the day, though, even though I'm saying, oh, it's a lot cheaper on Tuesday, it's still more expensive than it is right now. So you can get these cards somewhat cheap. I think Milwaukee players, they are somewhat cheap again. The Milwaukee Bucks are a pretty easy team to get cards for because like Drew Holiday's always cheap. I don't know why Drew's always cheap. Then there's like George Hill, Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton has a free moments card, so that's why Chris Middleton's always really cheap. I don't know why, but Drew Holiday is as well. But yeah, so that's kind of what the cards you should be looking at. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Just make sure you have all these cards because if you get caught tomorrow, it's going to cost you a lot. Like I bought Dinwiddie for like 6,000 MT and sold them for 30,000 MT last week when people realized the cards were good. And if it turns out that these cards suck, they're not going to change the price if you want them. But if it turns out these cards are really good, like Bams, there's so many Bams that he's not going to change in price. The guys that are really going to change in price are Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is going to be very expensive. I think Tatum has potentially very expensive because there's only one Tatum reward card. James Harden is going to be really, really expensive. And Kuminga, and there's too many Kumingas. Too many of that Kuminga card. But yeah, honestly, I'm holding out for them tomorrow. I think they're going to go up in price, so I advise you to get them all straight away. Because if you are going to need all of those cards, and you're going to need to play quite a lot of time in order to get the 4 free Dark Matters. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.